Everyone, welcome to this MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. I am Bess McCarty, coach for network marketers, also called the shrink of MLM. And you are at the show where we usually present with Jeffrey David Gamble, who is away at a convention right now. So I'm doing this solo, but we're thinking of you, Jeff. Hello, we miss you. So every weekday, Monday through Friday, we come to you with the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. Noon Eastern Time, and this is a generic show that is sponsored by our generic school, the MLM Millionaire Academy, School for Network Marketers. And we love to come to bring this to you where we present one of the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership by John Maxwell every day. Hello, Shamala, welcome. So you can get a free copy of this ebook if you want by going to our Facebook group, the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show Facebook group. And when you request to join, you can also get a free copy of the ebook there. And you can scroll down and find all the replays, and you can find 500 other MLM leaders in there. So just the best people. Welcome everybody that's come on. And if you're watching the replay, please type replay, because I'd like to thank you for watching and also like to hear where you're from. Our purpose is to help people grow, to educate, equip, and empower entrepreneurs and create independent servant leaders, and to give back to this profession of network marketing. So, yes, welcome everybody. And if you want to share, we'd love that. If you think that you know people who can benefit from this, we'd love if you tag, share in other Facebook groups that could be watching at the same time. So, hello, Kareem. Welcome. Glad to see you. Hope I'm reading this right. So, that is, yes, Kareem. Welcome. So, the MLM, the topic today, welcome, Marty. Come on in. Glad to see you. Glad to see everybody. It's kind of a fall, rainy day here in Kansas. What's it like where you guys are? And, interesting how we can get together from all over the world here and watch together. The topic today is the law of process, and this is kind of a welcome, Karen. Welcome. The law of process. This is law number 3. So earlier in the week we covered law number 1, the law of the lid. Number 2, the law of influence. Today is the law of process, and this is really about patience. Right? It's not exactly easy or fast, but it is a common sense type of law that says, you know, things that are sexy or fast and immediate and fast food in this economy and everything, and we want things right away. But this is about patience. So sort of like the law of sacrifice, it might not be a real fun law to hear about. Like, okay, it's going to take me patience. But it does celebrate the steps that you take and the steps that you're on. It does give you permission to say, I am successful every day that I take a step. And I'm going to celebrate that success and not just measure where I am in the whole process of things, or think that I'm only going to be successful on graduation day or the day that I reach my rank or the big paycheck or that I get on stage. Then am I successful? Yes, but you're also successful every single day that you took a step to get there. And that is kind of new thinking for me, to celebrate the small steps that it requires to get there, and that you are successful every day. It just shows at the end, right? People just celebrate at the end. But you are a success because and when you take every single little step. Hello, Jim. Welcome. Hello, Craig. How are you guys? How are you and Dennis? Glad to see you. Thank you for joining in. So this law, the law of the process, says it's like the compound interest that develops over time. John Maxwell says leadership develops daily, not in a day. It's what we do consistently over time. And the goal is who we become on the way, not necessarily the money. We've heard that a lot, right? But people who do make the thousands and $1 million in network marketing or in any company, they'll come back and say, yep, it was the personal growth. It's who I've become. on the way to making the money. That really is my greatest riches, not the money itself. So we want to fall in love with the journey and not the destination, not to get so hung up on what we want to get from it, but the beauty of the beauty of the gifts along the way, the personal growth, the little things, the helping people on the way, what we learn, who we become. We want to fall in love with the, in network marketing, for example, fall in love with the prospecting and the people, so that becomes the greatest joy. Actually, the journey becomes a greater joy than the destination. And then when you do get to the destination, you go, okay, what's next? What's my next journey? Right? You don't want to stop there and wait there because you had so much fun doing the journey. And so when someone reaches a rank in network marketing, we like to say, okay, now what's your next step? What's your next step in network marketing? That's great. Celebrate that. Now let's keep the momentum going, because that's how we grow. And hey, David Roeder, how are you? Good day. David's friend and student in the school. And Marty says, yep. So it's the joy of having a goal and going for it, and what we learn on the way to that really is the best part of any endeavor, any growth, network marketing, business. And it's helping ourselves, our own growth, and helping other people to have growth too, versus the goal so much, the journey, not the destination. So there are, in this growth that we do, you've heard, haven't you, that you've heard of the top earner who said, well, it took me 16 years to become an overnight success. That was a case of taking the steps all along the way and not just looking at the tip of the iceberg where the success shows. And I do have a little chart about that, a little picture of an iceberg where at the top the people see the success, right? But then you know the steps that it took to get there, the steps of the hard work, the risk, the late nights, the struggles, the failures, the persistence that it took, the actions that it took, the discipline, the courage, the doubts, the changes that you had to weather through. And nobody likes changes, right? We don't. We prefer not to change. Criticism, disappointment, adversity, rejection, and sacrifices. This is what is underneath the water, the visible surface of the iceberg. When you look at it, you see just the top of it, the success, but we know that the law of process says, man, I had to go through all this stuff to get there. And every single thing I just read sounds negative, but that's what develops a strength. That's what actually develops the personal growth muscle that success requires. And every successful person has gone through every single one of these things that I just mentioned. And that is the law of process. Let me take the steps, or as Dave Roeder has said, trudge the road, right? The guy who walked out of the Andes and saved some of his fellow passengers, the soccer team, focused on one step at a time. And he had to, every step counted and took him out, but he didn't focus like, oh man, I'm crossing the Andes. He just focused on the step in front of him. And so I'm learning to do that, and not to be daunted by the mountain in front of me, or the bigness, the monumentalness of the goal that I have in mind and all the work it's going to take. Let me just do one thing, and then do another thing, and do that consistently. And that is how things get done. That is how a tree grows. It has to grow inch by inch, right? It does not sprout up fast, but a tree is consistent. It doesn't stop. I mean, it might slow down in winter, but a tree does not stop. It keeps growing. And even in winter, the sap is rising and preparing for it might be resting in winter, but it is preparing for it to send out the buds in the spring. Hey, welcome, Nancy. Glad to see you. Thanks for the reminder. Fall in love with the journey. Yeah. We need these reminders. That's why I'm doing the show, because there's so many levels and layers, and I forget, and I need the constant reminders. So Jeff and I, we love bringing you the show, which we've been doing every day for a year now. Jeff is at a convention right now. We miss you. He'll be back on Monday. I'll be here today and tomorrow solo. So I get to do all the talking, right? But we're thinking of you, Jeff and Brandy. Brandy's Jeff's fiance, and they are together at a convention today. I hear the cricket. Yeah, there is a cricket in here. Yep. So he's singing along with me. I'm not solo after all. Thank you, cricket. Or else he's validating. He's saying, yeah, this is true stuff. This is real stuff. And I was talking about a tree and how it grows little by little, and then after a while there's this big oak tree, but it has to take its steps to get there. I just saw my chiropractor this morning, and he told me a story about how healing takes time many times with people, but sometimes when things take a long healing, they are a good solid healing. And he said it's just like the wood that you can buy sometimes at the lumber store today is very, very soft wood because they grew the trees fast. And the rings are far apart. They're not dense. They're more of a porous wood, and you can easily put a nail in it. He said versus the hardwoods of longer ago when the trees would take longer to grow, the rings of the tree were denser and closer together. So the long-growing trees have become the hardwoods, the solid woods that are sturdier. And he said healing can take time like that with that too. It was about 2 years ago, we were looking at my knees. About 2 years ago, I did these real intense, being a Scorpio, an intense person, I did these real intense exercises for the knees. And I believe that at that time I must have hurt my meniscus by too much pressure on them. Meniscus is like the cushiony cartilage pad between your upper and lower leg right at your knee. And so the meniscus is in there, doesn't get a lot of blood flow. And so it's taking a long time for that to heal, and the swelling that I've had behind my knees, it's almost gone now, but for 2 years it took me to get the circulation into that meniscus and for the little swelling behind the knees to go down. So that is happening, but I said 2 years, and he goes, well, sometimes the body takes that time, and then when it does heal like that, it's a good healing. It's a good healing. And so that is the law of the process, that many times we need this patience to say, I will get there, and I'm going to take the steps, and I'm going to know that, keep my eye on the goal and the vision, but meanwhile, just keep my eye on the step that I'm on and do it well. And don't get overwhelmed by the size of the mountain, but do that thing consistently. So this are the steps of learning, the 5 phases of learning. Have you heard this? First, we don't know what we don't know. We're ignorant. We don't know why our business isn't working better for us because we don't know what we don't know yet. We just don't know. We just know it's not working. We don't know why. Okay, second stage is now I know that I need to know. So we're conscious of our ignorance, even though we don't know what yet. But we're conscious that we are, first we're not conscious that we're ignorant, then we are conscious that we're ignorant. That's a step. Not to discourage, it's a step. And then I know what I don't know. Now I know what I need to know, and I can make a plan to get it. Like a lot of people come into our network marketing school and learn the skills there, and the scripts that we have, which are the best and fastest and easiest that I've ever seen in all of network marketing, and a lot of you here are in that school and using that and having great results with it. So that would be the third stage. I now know what I don't know, and I can plan and I can learn it. The fourth stage is now I'm knowing and I'm growing, and it starts to show because I implemented my plan and I learned, and now I'm growing more. And then the fifth stage is I go because of what I know. And that's when the results really show. And then in turn, you can teach that to other people and become a leader. So to apply the law of the process, you create your own personal plan for growth. Your personal growth is your process. That's what you're really doing, this business disguised as a personal growth program. And so if you take that in hand and increase your value daily and learn daily, both the skills and the mindset, that you create your own personal plan for growth. Like I'm going to read an hour a day, do an hour of personal growth work a day. And then you provide opportunities for growth to your followers, to your team. Encourage them. You could even create a culture of growth in your group. Like, okay, we're all going to read one John Maxwell book a month and discuss it on this call. And actually we have such a class within our school. On Wednesday nights, last night, is MLM Leadership University. MLM Leadership University. That is an inner circle school and class within our school, the MLM Millionaire Academy for Network Marketers, generic school. So last night was MLM Leadership University, and we completed John Maxwell's book, Sometimes You Learn, Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. And so that is where we're doing a deep dive into the personal growth, and that is available to anyone, even if you're not in the school. You could private message me if you'd like information about that. I'd be glad to get it to you. So last night what we talked about was that we learn most when we fail, when we make mistakes. And failure doesn't mean defeat, it just means a mistake that you can learn from. That's all that failure means. Remember, failure is an event, not a person. So if we learn the most from making mistakes, because success brings very few success, when we win, when we have a success, it brings very little learning and growth. It brings very little growth. And did you know that the greatest enemy for tomorrow's success is today's success? Think about that. The greatest enemy for tomorrow's success is today's success. So okay, we celebrate a win. Getting a rank, succeeding where it shows. But I'm going to learn more by my failures and by my mistakes. And that is the greatest friend for tomorrow's success, is today's failure. So failure is just going to be part of the process. Build it in, count on it, expect it, embrace it, use it as a stepping stone rather than as a defeat. And thank you everybody for being on. If you have a favorite, I've got a story for you too, but if you have a favorite takeaway so far, I'd love to hear that. I'd love for you to type it in, because it lets me know what you value, and it also helps people that see the replay, because there's some people that read all the comments. So if you have a little takeaway, that can actually help people, readers or watchers, to summarize what this is about today. And if you're getting benefit, love if you tag people, share in another group. And if you have a question, please type that in anytime and answer that. Even after the show has stopped, we'll keep the dialogue going. So the best way to use the law of process is to track what you do. In other words, if the law of process is to do something continually in your business every day. What's the most income-producing activity you can do in network marketing? Your presentations to new people, daily presentations to new people. And so we recommend that you do 1 to 5 a day, and keep track of that, because often we think we do more than we actually do. So if you keep track of that, you can begin to track your consistent daily activity that is the law of the process speaks about. And it's also really cool if you have an accountability partner. It could be your upline, crossline. I've coached people that were cross lines, that they were accountability partners with each other. It could be a coach. Many people use my services as a coach for accountability. But this is how you can, by tracking, you get an accountability partner. That's how you can use the law of the process and make sure that you're being consistent every day. Now, a penny doubled every day illustrates this law of the process and the principle of residual income really well. Did you know that if you double a penny every day, after the first day you get 2 cents? Yay! And after a week, you get $1.28. Yay! But after 2 weeks, you get a big whopping $163. Yay! But third week, you get $20,000. Fourth week, you have over $10 million. Whoa! That's just a penny doubled every day. This to me represents the residual income in network marketing and the power of that. Little story. to break up all of my quotes and facts and everything about the law of the process. And the law of the process answers some of my questions. Thank you. This is cool. Yeah, you have a question, you have a need today, then you hear it, And welcome, Jeff, how are you? And Nancy, I love the tree analogy in life. Thank you. Thank you. I'll read the rest of this later there, Nancy. Patience. Yep, patience. So first I think I'll just tell a couple of little things, share little quotes and stories here. John Maxwell says, life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. Yeah, I guess I've covered this already here. I do know someone who got on a health diet to correct their health, to improve their health. And it happened to be a diet I'd been on for like 10 years already. And this person said to me, how long am I going to have to stay on this diet? Well, the answer was, we hope that you stay on it the rest of your life, but as long as you can, as long as you want to feel good or have some results. But sometimes we forget why we're doing things. And there's a story about this man who had been in network marketing 6 years. And a friend was really making him feel bad. And he said, hey, to this man, he said, hey, I thought they told you this was a 2 to 5 year business. And it's been, 6 years now? And how much are you making from it now? And why did you even get into it? And why are you still doing it? And most of the time, this man could just let it roll off his back. He was running 2 other businesses too. But this time it kind of got to him, and he started thinking, yeah, what am I doing? And, they said it's about the personal growth. It's not about the $1 million you make, it's the personal growth. Because I really do want the $1 million too. That's why I started this business. But he realized that he wasn't as far along as he wanted to be, probably because he wasn't very coachable. He was like, okay, why do I need a system? I've always done my things my way and always made it happen. I don't need to listen to other people. I'm a self-starter. I don't need somebody's help. I'm going to tear this up. So he wasn't very coachable, even though his upline tried to help him, but he just couldn't let in that help a lot of times. But then he started catching on and started doing a little bit of personal growth work and Dale Carnegie and everything. Meanwhile, he and his wife want to have children. But they find out that they're going to have to, but they're having a hard time having children. And he realized that, I think we're going to have to use some of the alternative processes to help things along. And they're not cheap. And he said, so without network marketing, he doesn't believe he would have been able to afford it. But they were able to afford. They were able to have 2 wonderful children. At the time of this story, 1 and 4 years old. And they had no medical debt from this. But he still needed to learn the personal growth skills, and he slowly began to gain these other skills and the people skills that he thought that he didn't need. And then he grew actually 3 businesses, network marketing and 2 other businesses. And before he'd been making about $35,000 a year, but with the help of all these personal growth things and sticking with the process, and growing all 3 of his businesses, now he was a 6-figure earner. And the best thing of all of that is that his wife could be a stay-at-home mom. And then the very, very best thing of all that was that his son, as he's writing down the story, his son comes in and said, hey, Dad, can you take me to swimming lessons? And he goes, that's why I'm doing this. So this is the law of the process, and tomorrow is the law of navigation. It's important to not just steer, but to chart a course. And so we welcome you back at noon Eastern Time tomorrow on Bess McCarty's page, since Jeff and Brandy are at a convention. And if you'd like a free copy of this ebook, just go to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show Facebook group and get, when you join, you can get a free copy of this ebook. We're glad to have you over there and join the other 500 MLM leaders there in good discussion. And of course, you can scroll down and find all the replays. Last month we covered The Power of 5 by John Maxwell, written specially for network marketers. So that was kind of a one-time thing that you can scroll down and find all of the shows from that. But now, from now on, we're doing back on a regular track of covering one of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell every Monday through Friday. So we will see you tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. I'm going to respond to the discussion here. Let's keep the discussion going. Thank you each for joining here. I love if you share your takeaways, your questions, or share this with other people who can benefit from it too. Let's apply the law of the process today and this week and every day. Value the step that you're on. Celebrate. I celebrate you for being on here every day. Some of you are so regular doing your personal growth work. You're taking one step a day. You're learning maybe one thing a day that you can put into action, so you're becoming 1% better every day. And over a year, over 3 years, you're 1,000% better, right? As Jeff pointed out the other day. So I applaud your consistency and your step that you're taking every day that you're on here. Let's put this into action and share it with new people. If you're a network marketer, I invite you to share with at least 1 to 5 new people a day a presentation. And Jeff and I teach his method of how to invite and do that presentation. I'm going to post a free link below where you can get that free script and free directions to make the most of when you do the law of the process and do your presentations every day. Because if you can improve your skills, you can get the most out of what you do. So I will post that, and I invite you guys to use that at least once a day to do this law of the process. Share your network marketing business with others. Spread the wealth, like the guy who was able to afford to be able to have kids and let his wife be a stay-at-home mom with their kids and be able to say yes when his son wanted to take him to swimming lessons. That's what you're bringing when you're doing your daily presentations. That is what you are really doing, bringing to people, bringing them freedom. You're a freedom bringer and a giver of options for people to embrace a better life for themselves. So let's all do this. That's why I'm an advocate of network marketing. That's why I'm teaching this. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for all you do, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. Take care. Bye-bye.